Just as a warning, these clips that we'll be showing may be disturbing to some people. But as we move on, Faith is an indie horror game that stands as a testament to the power of minimalism in the horror genre. Developed by Airdorf Games, it offers a distinct and chilling experience that brings back to the golden era of pixel art horror games. In this comprehensive review, we will delve deep into the game's various aspects, exploring its story, gameplay, aesthetics, sound design, and much more. As we move on to the aesthetic of fear that is shown in Faith, one of the most immediately striking aspects of Faith is its minimalistic aesthetic in an era where high definition graphics often take center stage in horror games. Faith chooses to embrace its simplicity, opting for a pixel art reminiscent of early video game days. This design choice is more than just a stylistic decision. It's a fundamental element that enhances the horror experience. By limiting the graphical fidelity, Faith forces players to use their imagination to fill in the gaps. The pixel art leaves a lot to the player's interpretation, and it's this ambiguity that contributes significantly to the game's horror. When you can't see every gruesome detail in high definition, your mind often conjures something far more terrifying. In this sense, Faith taps into the power of the unknown, a core element of horror. The pixel art is employed with exceptional skill. Every pixel feels purposeful, and this art style effectively conveys the game's eerie atmosphere. The environments are rich with detail, as it shows a wasteland-esque forest between the abandoned rural home and its surrounding forest, such as the dead trees shown in the forest, and the very empty house that is the abandoned rural home. This contributes to the game's unsettling ambience very effectively. The use of color is also worth noting. The limited color palette, dominated by the dark, muted tones, enhances the game's oppressive and foreboding atmosphere. The occasional flashes of vibrant red are strategically placed to draw your attention to key elements, creating a dark contrast that heightens the tension. As we move on, we go into the narrative unveiled, a tale of darkness and redemption. Faith doesn't rely on extensive exposition and lengthy dialogue sequences to tell its story. Instead, it masterfully employs environmental storytelling and minimal dialogue to convey a narrative that is both intriguing and haunting. As Father John, a priest on a mission to exorcise the possessed Amy, players are drawn into a nightmarish world where supernatural forces clash with human frailty. The story gradually unfolds through found notes, audio recordings, and subtle visual cues. Each piece of the narrative puzzle adds depth to the plot, encouraging players to piece together the mystery on their own. What's truly remarkable about Faith is its ability to convey complex themes and emotions without resorting to excessive dialogue and cutscenes. The game explores themes of faith, guilt, and consequences of one's actions. It prompts players to question their own beliefs and morality as they navigate the disturbing events unfolding before them. The game's multiple endings add replayability and depth to the narrative. Your choices throughout the game influence the outcome, allowing for different interpretations of the story. This feature encourages players to return to the game and explore alternate paths, making Faith a game that lingers in your thoughts long after you've put it down. As we move on, we go into the gameplay and mechanics of the game. While the heart of Faith lies in its narrative and atmosphere, its gameplay mechanics are essential in delivering a fully immersive horror experience. The game's simplicity is its strength, allowing players to focus on the story and atmosphere without the distraction of complex controls. Your primary tools in Faith are a cross and a tape recorder. The cross is your weapon against the supernatural entities you encounter, and the tape recorder serves as both a means of recording evidence and a way to play back religious verses to ward off evil. These tools, while basic, are crucial to your survival and progress. The puzzles in Faith strike a balance between being challenging and solvable. They are designed to make players think and explore without becoming overly frustrating. The pacing of these puzzles ensures that you are consistently engaged and invested in the unfolding narrative. The game's relatively short duration, a few hours, may leave some players wishing for more extended gameplay experience. However, the brevity of the game also contributes to its replayability. The desire to uncover all possible endings and explore a different narrative choice encourages multiple playthrough. While we move on to the audio and sound design part, Faith showcases the significance of audio and sound design in creating a truly terrifying experience. The game's soundscape is carefully crafted to induce fear and tension from the very beginning. The eerie and unsettling sound effects contribute to the game's overall atmosphere, from the creaking doors to the distant whispers and murmurs. Every sound feels deliberate and designed to keep players on edge. The minimalist audio design allows players to become acutely aware of their surroundings, fostering a sense of vulnerability and unease. The haunting music that accompanies key moments in the game is a standout feature. It adds a layer of dread and anticipation, often signaling the presence of malevolent forces. The music is used sparingly but effectively, creating a memorable and spine-tingling moment that stays with the players long after they've completed the game. So, as we go into the length and detail of Faith, while Faith excels in its delivering a unique and chilling horror experience, there is indeed room for expansion in both length and its detail. Some players may find themselves yearning for a more extended gameplay experience with a deeper exploration of the game's rich lore and backstory. Expanding the game's length could involve more puzzles, locations, and characters, providing players with a more immersive and comprehensive journey into the dark and mysterious world of Faith. Further elaboration on the backgrounds of key characters, including Father John and Amy, could add depth to the narrative, allowing players to connect more deeply with the protagonist and antagonist. Additionally, while the pixel art style is effective in conveying horror through ambiguity, a longer game could offer opportunities to experiment with different visual styles for specific segments, intensifying the horror experience. Diversifying the environments and introducing a new gameplay mechanic could also help maintain the player's engagement over a more extended playtime. Summary: Faith is a remarkable horror game that demonstrates the potency of minimalism and delivering fear and suspense. Pixel art aesthetic, masterful storytelling, well-crafted gameplay mechanics, and immersive sound design combine to create an unforgettable experience, while its brevity leaves players craving more, and the game's multiple endings and atmospheric storytelling encourages its replayability. As Faith continues to captivate players with its unsettling narrative and unique aesthetic, it opens the door for future developments and expansions that could further enrich the gaming experience. It stands as a statement to the enduring appeal of horror games that tap into the fear of the unknown, making it a must-play for fans of the genre who appreciate thoughtful and atmospheric storytelling. But that'll leave it here for Faith. I would like to also say I'll be streaming this, I want to say, somewhere in October, because I feel like that's the right idea, if you know what I mean, because it's Halloween. And why not go check me out on bad_master on Switch? It's a great time. I mainly play like Minecraft and like Yu-Gi-Oh! But if you want, I could play other games. It's nice to see new people. And I hope you have a great day. Bye.